Tanya, we all know the museum is the end of that trail of money. The question now is, how long is that trail really? Chances are you've seen them riding right next to you. You know, messing with their phones. Do police not see what you see? In the Missouri sting, investigators bought a bunch of items and found 17% of their Walgreens merchandise rang up at a higher price than advertised. So we put Walgreens here to the two test and found our own pricing problems. Over several days, 210 called the number listed. We even tried texting. We wanted an explanation of how it all might work, but we never heard back. Red flag number 2. She's been calling and calling and calling. So how did you not know that she had a problem? And to help make sure change actually happens, 210 is also launching a retweet campaign. So when a social worker leaves for another job, that salary, it's up for grabs. DSSS can temporarily use it to cover overtime.
The anger and the tears and the heartache and everything else I've had to go through over the past month, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself.
She's not talking about a cheating spouse or even a friend's betrayal. She's talking about her tax preparer, the audit, the mess, and the hefty bill.
Benjamin Franklin said it. Nothing is certain but death and taxes. A handful of people in Burlington want to now add anger associated with taxes. You see, they're being audited by the IRS. They all hired the same woman to prepare their tax returns, and they all think that she falsified their information. 2 Wants to Know investigative reporter Ben Briscoe started digging and found the tax preparer has a criminal history.
Tanya, that's not all of it. The owner of Penguin Taxes, Marie Maldonado, told me she has no formal tax training. None. This after 5 people tell 2 Wants to Know they came here to get their taxes done. Now all 5 are filing these police reports saying Maldonado falsified their returns. Most of them say it's too embarrassing to talk about on camera. But one woman is so upset, she wants to warn you.
$5,230 in tools.
Reading through her tax return,
$10,001 in medical and dental expenses.
Tara Cole says,
a total of around $35,000 in deductions.
something doesn't add up.
It's a complete utter shock to see that she had filed all these deductions that we didn't authorize.
The she is Marie Maldonado. Maldonado owns Penguin Taxes in Burlington. The Coles say Maldonado e-signed their taxes, and the family never saw their final paperwork until they got this audit notice.
You know, we're 5 months away from Christmas. I'm not going to tell my daughter that, you know, I got to pay all this money back to the IRS. What she did was just wrong.
Now they could have to give back their tax refund, about $4,000 plus interest and fees. You don't want to say anything about it, ma'am? 2 Wants to Know tracked down Marie Maldonado. We would love to discuss that more with you in person. Maldonado wouldn't meet us face to face, but she says clients like the Coles provided all the deduction information. Maldonado's not saying more about what her former clients are claiming, but this pile of files in the courthouse is. 2 Wants to Know discovered Maldonado has at least 9 misdemeanor convictions, 7 for bad checks, the last one in 2009. Do you think someone who's writing bad checks should be doing taxes? No comment, okay. 2 Wants to Know also discovered this parole form where Maldonado wrote she only has a 10th grade education. Maldonado admitted to me she has no formal tax training, but made sure I knew she has 17 years experience working with taxes.
You should not be allowed to file taxes or any other governmental paperwork ever again. It's a disgrace.
So you may be wondering how someone with a criminal history like hers could even be doing taxes. Well, 2 Wants to Know checked the federal code. Turns out it's only felonies that could prohibit you from being a tax preparer. Maldonado's worthless checks were misdemeanors.
It makes me feel like I'm not good enough for my children if I can't provide for them.
This woman we're blurring out says her family has been without food stamps since December. Monday night, though, she had hope, watching a Guilford DSS board member say the county cleared its backlog.
We met the deadline.
She expected the money to be put on her food benefits card Tuesday morning, but there was no money. This frustrated mom allowed me to listen in on her phone call with the caseworker. We waited on the phone for almost an hour. We can't legally record what the worker said, but we asked the mom to repeat what she was hearing.
So actually they wasn't finished with all the backlog like they told the newscasters yesterday.
The worker's words are opposite of what the county said, and we don't want to get that worker in trouble. So we blurred this video so the caseworker wouldn't be identified by the mom she's talking to. Listening in, I heard the worker say, no, not quite finished with all of it. What do you think about that?
What I think, all of them need to be fired and rehire new staff.
210 took this mom's case and these new findings to interim DSS director Myra Thompson. She was just appointed today. Are all the outstanding cases processed right now?
Well, like we just talked about, there might be some that's in the system that's hung up that we're unaware that they hadn't been processed. But we asked those people to do call us.
She's been calling and calling and calling. So how did you not know that she had a problem?
I don't know. All I know is evidently I got the call today and I ran around and I got it taken care of. I'm not sure who she spoke to, or I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I don't know what happened.
What does Thompson know? Well, going forward, the department will make changes to keep this from happening again. She's just not sure yet what those changes will be.
Around our kids, we want to know about their backgrounds, right? I mean, it's pretty standard nowadays for teachers to be background checked and volunteers even down to the fingerprint, right? Well, 2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe found a gap in kids' protection. Ben, the information that you found challenges what many of us think we know about sex offenders in schools.
Construction's normally a roadblock, but it started this story. 2 Wants to Know spotted crews working in a school zone. Our question? Does anyone check the workers' backgrounds? Make sure those near kids aren't sex offenders? Not necessarily. And as it turns out, it doesn't matter. Under North Carolina law, registered sex offenders can't be here on school property, but take a step onto the sidewalk and they're okay.
Yeah, they can work right out in front on the water pipe that burst right out in front of the school and under the street. They can be doing that, and there's no laws against that.
Deputy Brian Henderson would know. He monitors Guilford County's 829 registered sex offenders. He says state law only keeps them from living within 1,000 feet of a school or daycare. But sex offenders can work on the street, even walk out front on the sidewalk with your kids.
Even if the yellow lights are flashing, it's not considered school property, it's public property, and they can drive down the street, they can walk down the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's a big loophole, and I'm angry about that.
Ethel Miner has a right to be angry. She's a mom and a childhood abuse survivor. She wants all precautions taken because she knows the lasting effects of abuse.
Hurt. I feel like I will never be able to, I haven't got married. Trust. You don't know, it's hard to trust anybody.
And we want to make it really clear, we haven't found any evidence that this oversight has ever led to an assault of a child. But it caught us off guard, so we wanted to make sure you knew about it too. There is one more exception to the law. If a registered sex offender has a child at the school, they can get a waiver to be on campus for certain events like a parent-teacher conference. Tanya,